everyone, and welcome to the Woman's Cave, the And I Thought podcast. All right, I think I'm changing it because remember it's WOMNES apostrophe cave because all the other ones are taken. So you have to have the apostrophe. But like when you say it, no one hears like apostrophe unless I spell it. And then it's been years of me spelling it. So why would I do this to myself? Considering that if you look it up, the name of the podcast is And I Thought. So maybe I should say the And I Thought podcast. 6 years. And now it's changed. I'm thinking I'm going with it. Yeah, I'm going with it. Anyway, I'm missing a Jade again today. Yeah, no Jade. And you guys have had this like all year long, and I feel really bad because I have misbehaved for almost an entire year. I'm going to try behaving today. Because even my bow is in right, so I'm going to try behaving today. It's not going to work. Anyway, I'm Winona Marie. Oh! I remember to introduce myself. High five to me. High five to me. Okay, finished with the dancing now. And now I'm behaving myself. And I was part of this group that wrote books. There's like 17 of them. And so let's go through the audio ones. And I thought divorce was bad. And I thought being grown up was easy. If only I were me, a memoir in verse, foreign coffee, widow's web, and widow's debts. You can get those wherever your audiobooks are found. And if you want to know the rest of like the 11 books, because there's 17 altogether. Yes, it's sign language part. It's 17 books altogether. Okay. You can go find those on www.andithoughladies.com. And yeah, since I wasn't that funny today and I made to talk about my bow and I talked about me and the name of the freaking podcast, and I'm going to do it like a car salesman because you know that's how that happens when I'm not funny. I have to do this bit. So you can find out everything about your ladies at www.andithoughladies.com. It feels like that, like, you know, at the end when they're like, yeah, it makes me smile every time. So if you don't like it, I do. So it's staying. But you're not here to hear about me. You're here to hear about our wonderful guest. Wonderful guest, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Terra Newell. 3 things you should know about me is 1, I am a survivor from defending myself against my stepdad in self-defense. That was a long one. 2 is I'm obsessed with my dog Dixon. He is a mini Australian Shepherd. And 3, I am a huge movie and TV addict. Like I just have I will watch shows when I do my work. And if you ask me about a lot of shows, chances are I know of the show.
Oh, I felt like being like challenge on, but then no, I don't think I'm going to do that. I said I was going to be professional today. I lied. I just straight up lied. So, you're an addict, like you watch all day?
Well, no.
Coffee kind of addiction where you watch in the morning, you gotta have it, and then the evening, and then like late night or something.
Well, if I'm at home and I'm doing a lot of emails, I'm just on the computer, I'm doing my Instagram stuff, I'm putting together content, but I'm not like creating it. But I'm like, oh, I always have something on in the background. I always just like I have to have background noise. And so I have to have the TV on. And so I will, you know, if you ask me certain things like, oh, did that happen in that show? I might have actually missed it because I'm doing like so many things at once, but I have seen that show and I do know the synopsis of the show.
Okay, sweetie, should you be considering being a TV executive instead? A development person? Because I feel like you would know what people would want to watch since you watch this much TV.
Well, a part of my job too is I like to do a lot of research on true crime, see what is ethical, what isn't ethical, how I can do things right, how I can do things better. And because I have the podcast, we actually produce it more so like a TV show. Because we have my podcast partner, Collier Landry, he is a DP and his whole life has been editing and filming TV shows, music videos, and everything. So he will edit it like a TV show and we film it all. You know, we have this setup. I have this setup back here. It's a cute little setup. And normally my bed is made and my dog's just hanging on it. So it's a vibe in here. And I am thinking about developing stuff for TV down the line. However, just have to continue to do more research and watch more TV and figure out what I do and don't like. But I do have a lot of project ideas.
Okay, what are the project ideas? And I swear we're going to get to the podcast. I just heard podcast and I was like, she didn't say a name, so I got to get back to that. But project ideas, I want to hear those.
Okay, so I mean, I would love to do a documentary where I actually interview John's survivors and I connect with them. So I would love that. I would love to produce something where there's just more an ethical side. And I want to be careful too because people will listen to this and also take your ideas. So I have to be careful of sharing my ideas at this moment.
Oh, I definitely understand that. You should do the documentary.
Thank you.
But you live on the West Coast though, right?
Yeah, I live in Orange County, California.
Okay. Yeah, no, so you have to do it right. So take your time. I've done like I'm working on my third documentary.
Oh, you are?
Yeah. I did not do them right. But
Okay.
they are so much fun to do. Like I
Yeah.
just put together the trailer and I'm like, I'm loving it.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. So like you got, and then you already have someone like that can help you edit. Editing is like the biggest part about, oh my God, it's so many hours. Okay, now I'm done talking.
Right.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, but no, I want to get a good team together, maybe a couple people who have won Emmys and have people that really know what they're doing so that they can help make this show a great show as well.
Again, as I said, I find people on the West Coast want to have it right. They're very big, like, it needs to be nice. I'm like, we live on the East Coast. You know how hard it is to find an Emmy anybody over here?
Well, I want to shoot with some nice like red cameras. I want to have like a nice interview scene. Like I want it to be more HBO or like Showtime style opposed to Oxygen or ID in a sense.
Oh, okay. And you already have like so far on your way. It's so weird because I'm used to talking to podcasters and like authors who are like, I want to do this film. And you're like, okay. And then they start talking, you're like, oh, but you're a long way away. But this will be fun, But anyway, yeah, you're definitely so. But I mean, it's West Coast. Y'all's people are always so great. I need to catch up.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, well, we're always working. We're always creative over here. We have the sun sign most of the time. It's been raining a lot lately, which isn't like California. Well, Southern California, where it's shiny and just pretty.
All the time. Like if it wasn't for the traffic, I would want to move.
Oh, and taxes as well, state taxes.
Oh my goodness. Gas prices. Just gas prices on their own.
Oh yeah, I think our taxes, like we have $1 like 47 taxed on top of ours compared to like all the other states, and the other states has like a 50 cents tax or something. I'm like, oh yeah, that's us.
Yeah. I think the state I live in is like third or fourth highest on taxes on gas.
Okay.
So it's still annoying here, but not nearly as annoying as it is there. But I mean, I feel like it works out because every day is gorgeous. Like almost, except for when it's raining.
Almost. Yeah. No, we've had a lot of rain lately, which isn't like us, but it's good because we were in a drought. We're not in a drought currently. And so we really needed that. And I think that today it looks a little gloomy, but it will get back to normal. It'll be sunny soon.
Hey, Los Angeles and Southern California, please get back to normal before May, because I'll be there in May and I need you back to normal.
Yes.
I have been counting down the days, like I'm going back to this nice weather. That's the thing I missed in COVID was Los Angeles.
Oh, really?
People are like, what did you miss? Las Vegas and Los Angeles.
Well, like in COVID, I even missed LA. It was all shut down. And you couldn't go many places at all. So, and I live in Orange County. It's a bit different. We're a bit more conservative down here. And so I mean, people were being like, we're not closing down our shop. We've been open for 70, 50 years. We're not closing it down, And so it was nice to have a little bit of that normalcy in a sense. However, I do understand that we needed to be cautious and take precautions and everything.
Okay, so we have talked about almost everything besides your podcast. So let's I don't do segues here. Let's just jump. Podcast. Can you tell us the title, why you brought it together? Is this your first podcast?
So this is actually kind of like my third podcast that I've done. So I've had the original Dirty John, and that was done by Wondery. That one has over 90 million listens now. And then I did a Time Out with Terra podcast, which is just me interviewing different people. And it was fun to do that, but the editing, everything is just not on point. And I'm really happy to be teamed up with Collier Landry, who is another fellow survivor. His mother was murdered by his father at the age of 11. And he actually went into his dad's room the next day, asked where mommy was, and then had a list of numbers to his mom's friends that he called because his dad told him that he couldn't call the cops. They weren't going to call the FBI. And so Collier took the list of the numbers, called his mom's friends. His mom's friends called the cops. Then the cops came, questioned Collier. Collier started to do research and put his dad in jail for murdering his mom at the age of 11. And so I've teamed up with Collier because I think his story is incredible. And there is always these 6 degrees of separation to our stories, where his dad actually worked with Tanya, who is John's ex-wife's husband, in the hospital that he worked at. And so it's just like, and Tanya's husband is from Mansfield, which is John's ex-wife. So it's just like the coincidences, because Collier's from Mansfield, that's where his story happened. And I think that it's going to be really amazing. We already interviewed probably about 28 guests. It should be launching sometime in May. And the guests that we have are just incredible. We have survivors all the way from like the Idaho murder case. Actually, not the Idaho murder. I get so many of these cases confused now because they're all just, it's really sad how many similarities there are in so many cases. But we have the Delphi murder case. We have Amanda Knox on. We have Rita Isabel. Her brother was killed by Jeffrey Dahmer. We have a lot of great guests that come on and share their stories.
See, I tried to keep it as light as long as I could for everyone. I really, really tried. And then we got to the sad part. Anyway. So how long is the podcast? Wait, it comes out in May. So what date should we be looking for it?
So we are, honestly, it just depends on our network. Whenever we're just waiting for them to get everything signed and worked out so that we can start. But we wanted to bring the podcast out in May, and we told all our networks and everyone that. So we're really hoping for a launch probably like the first week or midweek of May. The last week would be unideal, but it might happen. But it's just, we got to wait on our network.
Oh, big question that I need to ask. Is there a launch party?
So I don't know if I'm going to do a launch party or if I'm going to just do a Survivor true crime meetup, because I always do true crime meetups. And so I might just do like a true crime meetup, but everybody gets to meet each other. I just been putting it off because the last time we had a meetup was when was when we were filming with someone, I can't say who yet, and I coordinated all the survivors to get together, and they were all survivors that had been on our podcast. So I kind of gave away the roster for the podcast to other creators. So I'm like holding off on doing a true crime meetup until the podcast comes out. And then everybody else can have, I hate to say exclusives, but we did create a lot of content and a lot of great content for the podcast. We've been working on it since like almost a year now. And so we're just like, oh, some people have stories that we have connected with and they're not so publicized out there. So we're just like, oh, just hold off on those, please.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I mean, once you're burned, you learn.
Yeah.
You learn. You never ever forget. Unfortunately, you have the scar, but you learn.
Yeah.
And you never do that again.
Yeah. And it's like we had people come out from Milwaukee. We had people come out from out of state for the true crime meetup. And so, those people did come out there to connect with those people. And so I do want to support them in that aspect. But I'm like, oh, please don't give away our exclusive.
So can you tell us a bit about how the podcasting game has changed since your first? Nope, I lied. That is not my question. I take it back. This is why I do not try to push my podcast any further than where it is. Because I get to do things like I lied. I'm taking that question back. What have you learned from your first podcast to now that is going to make this one just pop?
I've learned from the first podcast, first narrative and stuff. That one was more of like a storytelling one. And I also learned that podcasts become public information. So I didn't make anything off of the Dirty John podcast with Wondery, not a cent from that. Even though it has 90 million listens. You think that I would have something to do with that, especially since it's my story, especially since I had to kill my attacker in self-defense. And so be careful when you do start to do a podcast and stuff. You want to make sure that you are going on and getting ads for it, because if you lose out on that monetization, then you don't get any of that. And it's kind of a sad thing, especially since there's been situations where people have made literally millions of dollars off of me and I can't afford rent or I'm overdrafted every now and then. So people need to be aware that when they do a podcast and stuff, it is public information and maybe it might be better to put it in a book first or, just have it in a different way or have full ownership of your story because that's the one thing that I did not have.
Wow. Thank you. I would normally ask the question about advice, but I feel like we have covered that. It's very well covered. And I want you to know that every once in a while I do a TikTok thing. Do I have permission to use that as the TikTok like advice? Like
Yeah.
second a TikTok advice. I'm using that.
Yeah.
Like, I never even thought about it.
Yeah, but
I cared, but I never even thought about it.
Well, no, people don't think about it, and then that's how they get screwed because they don't know that that's public information. And then it sucks too because like I work in true crime where I hate to say this, but like the Black girls will get offered nothing for their story and then like I'll get offered something and it's just like this ongoing cycle where if people don't know, they take advantage of those people. And they especially like to take advantage of like anyone that, I hate to say this, isn't white in a sense. Well, they like to take advantage of the white girls too, but like it's just they go after certain people a little bit more.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't have a sad story to tell if you're out there like, oh, she needs this information. No.
No, just to know because like they'll try to be like, oh, we'll give you 5,000 for your story. Absolutely say no to that.
Yep, now I have 2 TikTok moments. Thanks. I just have to edit them now, but yay, thanks. I'm sorry. All right. I said I was going to be professional today. I really did. I tried, y'all. I really gave it a shot. Now, can you tell us the name of the podcast one more time, or is that also?
The podcast name is the Survivor Squad Podcast. We actually do have a TikTok. We have an Instagram page. We have a Facebook page. We have a Patreon. We have everything set up for you to follow us, get some great exclusive content. But we are just waiting to figure out with the network when we can release those episodes. Should be May, though.
May it is. And I wish there was a launch party because I was like, I'm going to be in town in May and I wanted to go to a party.
Well, if there's a true crime meetup, I'll let you know.
That sounds scary. No, thank you.
Well, it's more so survivors.
Well, okay, yeah, I'll be there.
And no one's a perpetrator there. At least we hope.
I tried my best to make this entire show funny. I'm sorry. That joke probably was like, they were like, no, we didn't need that one. Y'all didn't, but I did it anyway.
I thought it was okay. I laughed.
Okay, so as soon as they find the information out for the networks, you'll be able to listen to that podcast. I want to thank you so much for taking time out today to be with me on this podcast and show with my semi-crooked bow and my not so great studio background today, but whatever, I'm making it work. And I'm missing Jade. Oh, that's a lot of things missing from this performance. Woo! Let's talk about some work. Can you tell everyone where they can find out more information about you and keep up? You already did the show. So if you want to tell people where they can find out more information about you, let them know.
Yes, so you can find me on Instagram. I'm the most active there. I am Terra, Terra, last name Newell, Newell. Then I'm also on TikTok, Terra Newell on there. I'm on Twitter, Terra_Newell, and then Facebook, I have a Facebook page there, Terra Newell as well. So any platform really, I am there.
Thank you. And you can find out I'm going to go ahead and wrap us up. You can find out everything that your ladies are doing at www.andithoughladies.com. And no, there is no car salesman pitch to that one. While you're there, go down to the middle of the page and you can see the charities that we proudly support. We ask that you take a moment out and give them a little support too. Remember that it's not limited to just monetary support. They also need information and volunteers. So please take that time and do that. We thank you in advance for that. Remember that wisdom is all around you if you're open to finding it and accepting it. So peace and love, you guys, from Will Nona and the Missing Jade. Oh yeah, thanks for listening.